Tonight on our news, live at 7, a mid-air collision in Washington, D.C., sending shockwaves worldwide. Tonight, the Bahamas ambassador to the United States seeking to dispel fears over air travel. Plus, potential gone too soon. The National Security Minister says the latest Kemp Road murder victim was becoming a positive influence within his community despite his checkered past. Then, let there be light. It's an historic occasion for vendors at Potter's Key Dock as stall owners get an electrified sight. Then in our news at 7:30, police vowing to track down a man wanted for an early morning burglary and the sexual assault of a woman in her Highbury Park home. Details on these stories and more as our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kendino Knowles. A mid-air collision in the United States Capitol, sending shockwaves across the world, with the impact felt even here at home. The temporary shutdown of Ronald Reagan International Airport causing at least one flight delay this morning. Bethany McDermott, who's been following this, gets us started tonight.
The tragic mid-air collision involving an American Airlines passenger plane and a U.S. military Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. last night, forcing American Airlines to delay its regular flights to New Providence, according to Bahamas ambassador to the U.S., Wendell Jones. Jones telling us the flight that was set to leave Ronald Reagan International Airport at 8:30 this morning didn't leave until after 11. Jones also telling us he drove by the crash site. Things
have returned to normal now. The airport opened 11 o'clock this morning, and so traffic is flowing again. But there is grief everywhere and bewilderment.
The passenger jet and a Black Hawk helicopter collided midair Wednesday night. U.S. President Donald Trump confirmed there were no survivors. The American Eagle flight number 5342 was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members on a flight from Wichita, Kansas. The helicopter involved in the collision was on a training flight. Jones said he traveled back to D.C. just last night before the tragic incident. He says Bahamians have no reason to fear flying into D.C.
You have accidents from time to time, and sometimes these are caused by human error. Bahamians need not fear flying to and from Washington, D.C., as they need not fear flying from Nassau to Freeport or New Providence to Miami. Tourism in the Bahamas is doing extremely well. It is hot, and I don't believe that this particular incident is going to cause any problems in that regard. Americans continue to seek the sunshine and the hospitality of the Bahamian people, leaving the Northeast in the United States for rest and relaxation in Nassau.
Reporting for our news, I'm Bethany McDermott.
All right, thanks so much for that, Bethany. And we've got the full details of that story coming up in our World News segment. Meanwhile, Chief Superintendent of Police Michael Johnson, Attorney Bjorn Ferguson, and Police Sergeant D'Angelo Roll heading to the Supreme Court to face trial in connection to a corruption probe sparked by leaked phone recordings last year. Johnson, Ferguson, and Roll were formally committed to stand trial in the Supreme Court when they received voluntary bill of indictment papers at a brief appearance before Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. The men due to appear before Senior Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson for arraignment on February 21st. Johnson, the former head of CID, faces charges of conspiracy to commit bribery, stealing, receiving, and accessory after the fact. It is alleged that between November 6th and 15th, 2023, Johnson conspired to solicit a bribe from wanted man Michael Fox Jr. and is also accused of enabling Fox to avoid due process. Ferguson, who was Fox's lawyer, is charged with accessory after the fact, while Roll is accused of abetting Johnson with the theft. Days after a man gunned down in the Kemp Road community, National Security Minister Wayne Monroe praising the victim. Monroe says Mario Brown was a positive influence despite having a troubled past. Brown was killed on Sunday outside a home on Cooper's Terrace, where he was ambushed by gunmen driving a light-colored vehicle. Monroe, who is Member of Parliament for the area, said it's tragic his life was cut short as he was working to make a positive impact.
For the last, I'd say, 3 I'd say 3 years that I've been interacting with him. I'm satisfied that he had great influence in preventing some of the petty street crimes and other street crimes that used to plague that area.
And Brown had several pending court cases, including a 2019 murder charge and a 2024 firearms charge. The National Security Minister appealed to parents to take responsibility for their children and cooperate with police. Monroe says his impact has resulted in the highest drop in crime across all the divisions in New Providence.
But it is a message sometimes that the legacy of your past is difficult to avoid. And so it is even more important that we prevent and divert young men from starting down a path that may be difficult to leave.
All right, and more devastating news from the Kemp Road community tonight. A Sutton Street community center reduced to rubble after devastating fire. Police tell us a massive blaze engulfed the facility shortly before 4 p.m. Thursday. Firefighters on scene trying to extinguish the blaze that left plumes of smokes, as you can see there, across the eastern skies of New Providence. While the cause of the fire yet to be determined, police say fortunately no lives were lost. Center manager Pastor Laura Taylor says she had just completed distributing care packages when she was alerted.
Good thing the children were on one side of the ministry, because the area that burned down is the part that we do clothing. We have the storage for whatever we distribute. And I feel numb, but I'm still trusting God. I'm still trusting God. He still is in control.
All right, and we are still following this story. Be sure and stay tuned to our news on Facebook for the latest. And police are investigating the tragic death of 31-year-old Anishka Barnaby. She died after suffering severe burns in a house fire earlier this month. The incident happened around 4 a.m. on January 6 at Barnaby's West End Avenue home off Blue Hill Road. Authorities say she managed to escape the flames but sustained burns to about 85% of her body and was placed in a medically induced coma. Despite efforts, she passed away on January 22nd. After her death, her family now demanding justice, believing that someone she knew was responsible for the horrific incident. Press Liaison Officer Superintendent Sharia King says the investigation is ongoing as they work to determine how her death will be classified.
So you would understand that it is a bit of a complicated incident, and so we are going to do our best to do our full investigation, get the evidence, and if the matter needs to be changed, then that is what we will do. But it is presently being reviewed at this present time.
And vendors at Potter's Key Dock will have their stalls powered by electricity for the first time very soon. Officials from the Ministries of Transport and Energy working with Agriculture and Marine Resources to provide power to dozens of vendors who spend hours on the site every day. The goal is to give vendors one less thing to worry about as they continue to provide for their families. One of those vendors, known as Tall Boy, tells us the power change will save them thousands of dollars on fuel.
Well, for me, on the side generator I used to run my whole shop because it's a very big shop. You're looking at probably like about almost $60 almost a day for me, because you're running from morning. You're talking about running from morning till our license is actually for 2 a.m. the following day. So you're looking at almost $60 sometime for some of the stores per day.
All right, good news there. We've got much more to get to tonight, but for now it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, and a happy Thursday evening, everybody. Another beautiful evening setting up for us on the outdoors. Temperatures in the low 70s. 74 is our current temperature with just a few clouds outside. Winds have picked up a bit. They're now out of the east at 16 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 72 degrees. Temperatures around the islands right now, it's 72 in Freeport, Grand Bahama, over in Marshall, Babaco, 70, 73 in Alistown, Bimini, as well as in Governor's Harbour, Eleuthera, Great Harbour, Keithbury Islands, Nicholstown, Andros, all 74s, as well as here in the capital. 74, Kemps Bay, Georgetown, Deadman's Key, pair of 73s, Arthurstown, Cat Island, and in Coburn Town, San Salvador, and into the southeast Bahama. 76, Duncan Town, Ragged Island, 73 in Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, Delectable Bay, Auckland, 74, 75 in Abrahams Bay, and a pair of 77s in Matthewtown, Inagua, as well as Providenciales, Turks and Caicos Islands. Satellite radar composite, just a quiet day around the islands. Ridge of high pressure is in charge. Dry air mass in place Not much in terms of any clouds or precipitation expected. We do have a frontal boundary that we're expecting to get here by Saturday. That could bring us just a sprinkle or two, but it seems as though we're going to be ending January on a dry note and starting February much the same. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Coming up in sports, the state of emergency in Trinidad and Tobago has recently been extended. We'll tell you what effect it could possibly have on the Carifta Championships this Easter.
Hey, you going with me to the store?
No, that's straight. My boy got me.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me, Italia Hall, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
Unleash resilience. Secure the digital future. Navigate the evolving landscape of cyber threats. The future will be secured. Presenting the Alive Business Cybersecurity Conference. Securing the future. Navigating cyber challenges in business. Thursday.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. As athletes continue their qualification process for both disciplines of the upcoming Carifta Championships, Bahamian officials on all fronts are monitoring the state of emergency declared in Trinidad and Tobago and any ramifications it may have on the events. Both Carifta Swimming and Athletics Championships are scheduled to be hosted in Trinidad and Tobago over the Easter holiday weekend, but stakeholders across the region have speculated on the fate of the games after the country's government declared a state of emergency. Trinidad and Tobago recently extended that state of emergency on January 13th to counter the record number of homicides and the escalating trend of violence. 2024 was the deadliest year in Trinidad and Tobago's history, with a record 614 murders.
Dayton Aubrey has had a seamless transition to Utah State's starting lineup and put up a season high last night in points. Aubrey scored 16 points to lead the Aggies to a 76-71 win over UNLV last night at the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum in Utah. Utah State improved to 19-2, 9-1 in the Mountain West standings to lead the conference.
Remember when Eric Gordon instantly became a Bahamian national hero 2 summers ago with those back-to-back threes against Argentina?
I do.
It feels like that Eric Gordon is back for the 76ers. Gordon had 14 points and made 3 of 4 three-pointers for the 76ers in their 117-104 win over the Sacramento Kings last night at Wells Fargo Center. After scoring in single digits for 3 straight games, Klay Thompson got back to the shot-making we've come to expect. Thompson scored 20 points and made 6 threes to lead the Dallas Mavericks to a 117-116 win over the New Orleans Pelicans last night at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. That'll do it for Our Sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as a mid-air collision involving a commercial jet and Army helicopter in Washington, D.C. Plus, 3 years of consecutive increase. Public servants in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to get a 2.5% pay bump starting today. The details when our news returns.
Unleash resilience. Secure the digital future. Navigate the evolving landscape of cyber threats. The future will be secured. Presenting the Alive Business Cybersecurity Conference. Securing the future. Navigating cyber challenges in business. Thursday, February 20th, 2025. Atlantis, Paradise Island. Register today. This is how we unleash resilience. This is how we create innovation. Together, let's secure the digital future.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the lives.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
Unleash
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. More than 60 people were feared dead after an American Airlines regional passenger jet collided with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter and crashed into the frigid Potomac River near Reagan Washington National Airport. Zachary Goldman has the details.
More than 60 people were feared dead on Thursday after an American Airlines jet collided with a U.S. Army helicopter over Washington, D.C.
We are now at a point where we are switching from a rescue operation to a recovery operation. At this point, we don't believe there are any survivors from this accident.
District of Columbia Fire and Rescue Chief John Donnelly said the regional jetliner coming from Wichita, Kansas, fell into the freezing waters of the Potomac River near Reagan Washington National Airport. American Airlines confirmed 60 passengers and 4 crew members were aboard the jet. A U.S. official said the Black Hawk military helicopter was carrying 3 soldiers on a training flight.
Did you see that? 472.
Air traffic control audio recorded an aircraft calling in, apparently referring to the crash just before 9 p.m. Wednesday night. Surveillance footage appears to show a sudden fireball over the sky. The Midair collision occurred as the passenger jet was approaching to land at Reagan.
We can do 33 for Blue 6342.
Radio communications between the air traffic control tower and the Black Hawk showed the helicopter knew the plane was in the vicinity.
This was not unusual with military aircraft flying the river and aircraft landing at DCA.
U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said both the helicopter and the airplane had been flying standard flight patterns and there had been no breakdown in communication.
What I've seen so far, do I think this was preventable? Absolutely.
Airspace is frequently crowded in the U.S. capital region, home to 3 commercial airports and several major military facilities. Passengers on the flight included ice skaters, family, and coaches returning from events in Wichita, including Russian-born former world champions Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov. Russian media said Shishkova and Naumov, who were married and working as coaches, were returning from Wichita with a group of young skaters. The Kremlin offered condolences to the families of Russians killed.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump said Wednesday he's ordering the Pentagon and Homeland Security to set up a migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay for up to 30,000 people. The U.S. naval base in Cuba already houses a separate migrant center apart from the prison, holding 15 terrorism suspects. Critics condemn Guantanamo for indefinite detention and alleged torture. Meanwhile, former Presidents Obama and Biden tried to close it, but Trump has vowed to keep it open. Public servants in St. Vincent and the Grenadines will get a 2.5% pay rise starting January 30th, marking the 3rd straight year of increases. The latest bump follows previous hikes of 2.5% in 2023 and 2% in 2024, adding up to a total of 7% over 3 years. Government says healthcare workers will also continue receiving an extra 5% on their pay, which was part of a supplemental program extended beyond its initial 6-month run. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum is urging Google to drop plans to rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America for U.S. users, following President Trump's recent executive order. Sheinbaum argues international waters can't be renamed beyond 12 nautical miles from a country's shoreline. Google says it typically follows official government sources for name changes. But Sheinbaum criticized Google for catering to a single nation, even joking that Mexico might demand Mexican America appear on the map. All right, in this week's edition of Sustainability First, I'm Marlena Leonard. She sits down with lifetime member of the Bahamas National Trust and managing director of Bahamas Waste, who tells her his connection with BNT was inevitable.
Bahamas First, putting sustainability first for our people and our environment. What's first for you and the planet comes first for us.
You know, I grew up on the water. You know, my family has, my dad and my grandfather were Olympic sailors.
Now the managing director of Bahamas Waste, De Cardenas says the company is a constant supporter of the Bahamas National Trust.
We have been doing it at the retreat since I can remember. We provide all of their services, any cleanups, all the parks, anything that they do. We support.
And while De Cardenas says Bahamas Waste supports any cleanup initiative that needs their help, he says the constant need for cleanups is distressing.
And it's just not a Bahamian problem. It's a worldwide problem that, you know, imagine if we could walk on the beach and not see any litter.
While it's easy to take our nation's natural beauty for granted when you see it every day, the managing director tells us,
I've taken people to Exumas that 10, 20 years ago that still talk about it today. I mean, it's just, you know, I'm not sure which astronaut said it, but it's the most beautiful place in the world. And if we don't do what we have to do to protect it, we'll lose it.
Reporting for Our News and reminding you to put sustainability first, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Still to come in Our News, Today in History, find out interesting facts about the day that was January 30th. Then in Our News at 7:30, police strengthening their efforts to crack down on drugs and the criminals who traffic them. Officers with a stern warning to the criminal element. Plus, the EPL announcing a 90-day plan to help ease the predicted summer load on the island of Eleuthera. The story when Our News returns.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me, Italia Hall, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
Unleash resilience. Secure the digital future. Navigate the evolving landscape of cyber threats. The future will be secured. Presenting the Alive Business Cybersecurity Conference. Securing the future. Navigating cyber challenges in business. Thursday, February 20th, 2025. Atlantis, Paradise Island. Register today. This is how we unleash resilience. This is how we create innovation. Together, let's secure the digital future.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick.
This is Our News. Welcome back. On this day in Bahamian history, in 1955, Michael George Sweet Bells Thompson was born in New Providence. Thompson is now a retired professional basketball player and sports broadcaster. In 1988, Wallace Groves died in Miami, Florida. Groves was an American investor who came to the Bahamas after he and 3 others were convicted in the United States. In 1941, he started the Abaco Lumber Company and eventually was credited with the creation of the city of Freeport. In 1918, the first airmail service began in the Bahamas. It started as an exploratory service by the United States Naval Air Service. For more interesting facts that shaped the day that was January 30th, be sure to head over to rnews.bs for the full scoop. All right, that's going to do it for us in News at 7. But before we toss to 7:30, as you know, Thursday is the new Friday here at Our News, and we want you to have some fun with us. Of course, helping us to have that fun is Our News entertainment correspondent Danielle Miller. Danielle, where are you now?
Hey, I am at Kima having a mocktail, and I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. One of the reasons why I absolutely love this place is because they have this traditional Greek carp caviar spread that I absolutely love. And then on top of that, the service here is really good, so they keep me coming back. But if you want to know what else I'll be doing this weekend, go to our social media pages and watch Thursday is the new Friday. And for your weekly dose of entertainment news, turn into our 7:30 p.m. Tune into, and that's a mocktail, that ain't even rum. Tune into our 7:30 p.m. broadcast. All right, back to you in studio.
All right, thanks so much for that, Danielle. That mocktail looks really good. I have a question, Natalia. Are you doing dry January, or have you done it?
I've started the year
dry January
more
journey.
Healthy. Let's leave it
You
at
know
that.
what? I'll just say the dry January was not for me this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's work on that in the next month.
Sure thing.
Well, we'll have more on Danielle's escapades in just a bit, but for now, here are your latest headlines.
First tonight on our news live at 7:30, a woman attacked inside her Highbury Park home after an intruder broke in overnight. Police vow to track down the suspect. We have the details coming up. Also, an ex-convict is back before the courts, this time accused of gunning down a man outside a Kemp Road liquor store. Plus, authorities are cracking down on drug operations in the country. Senior Assistant Commissioner Roberto Goodman shares the latest in their fight against crime. And later, what's the latest on power services in Eleuthera? We have an update from Bahama's Power and Light when our news at 7:30 returns.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
Diet-friendly special.
Welcome to Paradise Games, where exceptional service meets the ultimate gaming experience. Our dedicated team is here to make every visit a win.
Now this is paradise.
This is more than just a place to play.
Now this is paradise.
It's where excitement meets world-class service.
Now this is paradise.
Now this is paradise.
Come, experience it for yourself. Now this is paradise.
Wendy's and Coca-Cola is ready to give you a summer of fun with over $20,000 in cash and prizes. Upgrade your premium lunch combo to a medium or a large, or purchase a large salad with a Coke for a chance to win amazing prizes like a 50-inch TV and soundbar, a staycation at Comfort Suites.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Talia Hall. A woman was sexually assaulted during a terrifying burglary at her Highbury Park home early Thursday morning. Police say the intruder broke into the Weybridge home shortly before 1 a.m., attacked the woman, and managed to escape. Speaking at police headquarters on the sidelines of the opening ceremony for the Royal Bahamas Police Force Water Survival Search and Rescue Training, Press Liaison Chief Superintendent Sharia King condemned the attack as a heinous act and vowed that investigators are working relentlessly to bring the perpetrator to justice.
We are in the preliminary stages of that particular investigation. She was taken to hospital to be checked out, but it's my understanding she did not remain in hospital and she was released thereafter.
The 33-year-old man accused of shooting a man in the head outside of a bar is an ex-con who was recently released from prison. Philip Martin, a barber, is accused of the January 24th murder of Gibson Desir. The 39-year-old was outside Gordo's liquor store on Kemp Road when he was killed. Martin didn't have to enter a plea to the charge when he appeared before Chief Magistrate Roberto Rackley. Bail was denied and he's back in court on April 24th to receive voluntary bill of indictment papers. Martin was freed from prison after completing a 4-year sentence for a 2021 robbery. Well, police warning drug dealers, we're coming after you. Police reassuring the public that they are on the case to crack down on drugs and the criminals who traffic them today. Outside of the opening ceremony for the Water Survival Search and Rescue Training course at the police headquarters, Senior Commissioner of Police Roberto Goodman shared an update on their efforts.
We have a recent operation just commenced this month, and we'll be able to target those persons who are fueling, like you said, fueling some of these crimes in the country. And so where we see anywhere in the Bahamas, whether it be in New Province or anywhere within the Bahamas, at the Drug Enforcement Unit, along with the police officers who are assigned to these different islands and these various places, that they'll be able to search these persons out and bring them before the court.
He also issued a strong warning to drug traffickers.
I just want to admonish all those persons, all the persons who are involved in the criminal aspect of it, all these drug trafficking organizations who continue, and the persons who continue to live off in-garden gains is that we are going to make a serious impact out you. Those persons who think that they could go out there and be selling drugs to our wonderful boys and girls in our society. The persons who live off these profits, who benefit from it, we're coming after you. We're coming after you. We're going to take whatever assets you have. We're coming after you.
All right, now to the island of Eleuthera. This as Bahama's power and light officials say they're using the winter months to prepare the island for summer. The island has been plagued by power woes for years. The officials say now is the time to put measures in place to help ease the predicted summer load through a number of measures, all part of a 90-day plan. Bahama's Power and Light Communications Director Arnett Ingram says, however, in order to get work done, there will be a few growing pains.
What's going to happen is that we're going to be taking a number of outages on the island, so customers will see that the power is going to be going off in the next couple of days, but we will be sending out a schedule in advance, at least 48 hours notice. Our customers will know when we plan to do take an outage so that we can do that much needed work on our grid to make sure that it's ready for the summer load and customers won't experience what they've seen in the past in terms of unplanned outages.
PPL Chairman Christina Alston says Eleuthera's unique makeup makes it necessary for newer technology to be implemented into the system.
We'll have trucks, we'll have equipment, but one of the things I want to tell you is, Eleuthera is one of those islands that it's growing very rapidly, and keeping up that growth is a challenge. And so from our perspective, what we have to do is say, how can we maximize technology, or the technology that is now available to us that wasn't available to us previously, in order to bring the island up to the reliability standards that we would like to see.
While a mid-air collision in the United States Capitol sending shockwaves across the world, with the impact even felt here in the Bahamas. The temporary shutdown of the Ronald Reagan International Airport causing at least one flight delay this morning. Our Bertha McDermott is following this.
The tragic mid-air collision involving an American Airlines passenger plane and a U.S. military Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. last night, forcing American Airlines to delay its regular flights to New Providence, according to Bahamas ambassador to the U.S., Wendell Jones. Jones telling us the flight that was set to leave Ronald Reagan International Airport at 8:30 this morning didn't leave until after 11. Jones also telling us he drove by the crash site.
Things have returned to normal now. The airport opened 11 o'clock this morning, and so the traffic is flowing again. But there is grief everywhere and bewilderment.
The passenger jet and a Black Hawk helicopter collided midair Wednesday night. U.S. President Donald Trump confirmed there were no survivors. The American Eagle flight number 5342 was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members on a flight from Wichita, Kansas. The helicopter involved in the collision was on a training flight. Jones said he traveled back to D.C. just last night before the tragic incident. He says Bahamians have no reason to fear flying into D.C.
You have accidents from time to time, and sometimes these are caused by human error. Bahamians need not fear flying to and from Washington, D.C., as they need not fear flying from Nassau to Freeport or New Providence to Miami. Tourism in the Bahamas is doing extremely well. It is hot, and I don't believe that this particular incident is going to cause any problems in that regard. Americans continue to seek the sunshine and the hospitality of the Bahamian people, leaving the Northeast in the United States for rest and relaxation in Nassau.
Reporting for our news, I'm Bertha McDermott.
All right, thanks so much for that, Berthany. Well, temperatures cooling down in the capital on this Thursday. Wondering what else we can expect? Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and welcome everybody for a quick check on conditions around the islands and outside our studios. 74 degrees is our current temperature with a few clouds on the outside. Your winds are out of the east at 16 miles per hour. Field site temperature is at 72. Satellite radar composite, nothing much to talk about. Some high-level clouds moving across area, not going to be producing any precipitation. That high pressure is going to be responsible for some dry air mass across the area. The pressure gradient is going to be tightening, so we're looking at some breezy conditions beginning this evening through tomorrow. But we do expect the front to get in here sometime on Saturday, reinforcing the nice weather conditions. That's a quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, as his tenure comes to an end, Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce President James Carey looks back on his years leading Grand Bahama's business sector and what's next for the island's economy. Plus, the latest National Training Agency cohort sees a significant rise in male participation. Also, from Christmas donations to charity basketball clinics, young Ethan Johnson is proving he's wise beyond his years. That's all coming up when our news returns.
Wendy's and Coca-Cola is ready to give you a summer of fun with over $20,000 in cash and prizes. Upgrade your premium lunch combo to a medium or a large, or purchase a large salad with a Coke for a chance to win amazing prizes like a 50-inch TV and soundbar, a staycation at Comfort Suites, or a $3,000 Going Places travel voucher. Enter online at Wendy's Bahamas Facebook page for a chance to win.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
In just a few weeks, Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce President James Carey will officially demit office, bringing an end to his tenure at the helm of the business community in Freeport. Reflecting on his time as president, Carey describes the past few years as rewarding, noting the invaluable connections he's made with the business owners, industry leaders, and community stakeholders. He also commended the press for providing the chamber with a platform to share its work with the wider community. Carey remains inspired by the resilience of Grand Bahama's business community, adding that business leaders remain confident about the island's future.
For me, it's been an eye opener. I've gotten to meet so many people, talked to so many businesses, and you know I'm looking forward to continuing in a way to contribute to the economic development in Grand Bahama. I don't plan to go completely away.
And as his time in office comes to an end, Carey had this piece of advice for the incoming chamber president.
Continue to be true to the business community and never ignoring the community as a whole. Seek to keep information going out there, share with the several communities.
Well, several students recently celebrated their successful graduation from the National Training Agency's program. This cohort marked a significant milestone in Grand Bahama as male participation, which was absent in the last group, made a strong comeback with 3 high-achieving male graduates. Among them was Stanford Martin from Abaco, who received top honors in multiple awards. McIntosh shared his journey and says the experience has been indescribable. He also revealed that as a result of the program, he's already received 2 employment offers.
I came into the program just wanting to continue to expand on myself. I would have just recently graduated high school, but I didn't want to step into college straight away. But I knew that I didn't want to be stagnant. I wanted to actually continue to learn. And when I saw the flyer for NCAA, I knew that that's something that I wanted to partake in.
NTA Executive Director Bridget Ferguson shared the importance of the program, while Senator Kirkland Russell says he was so proud of the graduates.
To prepare and implement workforce vocational training in accordance with the national policies, economic needs, and demands as we grow our Commonwealth. And as a result, we must increase the capacity of individuals to participate effectively, to be productive members of society.
There are so many persons, outstanding persons in our community who would have come and start their journey in programs such as this. I am one of those persons. I started as an apprentice, very similar to the NTA program, culinary arts. And I just continued to learn, and it took me to the top of the chain, and here I am now today, serving our beloved country.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, young Ethan Johnson's heart for giving back continues to shine as he turns a simple basketball game into a mission to help others.
Coming up in sports, local officials express concern for the fate of the 2025 Carifta Championships, a season-high night for Dayton Albury, and a resurgent EG in Philly. Great time for Philly sports.
And Greg is back with your extended forecast when our news continues. Stay with us.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
Unleash resilience. Secure the digital future. Navigate the evolving landscape of cyber threats. The future will be secured. Presenting the Alive Business Cybersecurity Conference. Securing the future.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. As athletes continue their qualification process for both disciplines of the upcoming Carifta Championships, Bahamian officials on all fronts are monitoring the state of emergency declared in Trinidad and Tobago and any ramifications it may have on the events. Both Carifta Swimming and Athletics Championships are scheduled to be hosted in Trinidad and Tobago over the Easter holiday weekend, but stakeholders across the region have speculated on the fate of the games after the country's government declared a state of emergency.
The state of emergency obviously is designed to try to manage the escalating system that all of our area is feeling in terms of, some level of violence and discontent.
Trinidad and Tobago recently extended that state of emergency on January 13th to counter the record number of homicides and the escalating trend of violence.
Everyone has expressed some level of concern. As it stands now, there's been no cancellation of the event, and we're planning to be in Trinidad.
2024 was the deadliest year in Trinidad and Tobago's history, with a record 614 murders.
They will make a decision on whether the games will remain there or not, so I don't really want to preempt any decision that is made, but of course the Bahamas will take the steps as necessary to safeguard its athletes and the citizens, and so we just wait to see what's the outcome. We got literally 2 to 3 more months, so I don't want to speak too early on that matter.
Dayton Aubrey has had a seamless transition to Utah State's starting lineup and put up a season high last night in points. Aubrey scored 16 points to lead the Aggies to a 76-71 win over UNLV last night at the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum in Utah. Utah State improved to 19-2, 9-1 in the Mountain West standings to lead the conference. Aubrey led 5 Aggies in double figures. He scored 11 of his 16 in the second half and shot an efficient 6 from 9. He also led the team with 3 steals, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists in 21 minutes. Since moving to the starting lineup, the senior guard has increased his average to 6.4 points per game. Utah State is now tied with New Mexico in the Mountain West, and the 2 teams will face off Saturday night in Utah.
They feel good. I think we were up 5 with 2 minutes left, and felt great, especially in the spec with all the fans going crazy. It's made the shot, looking around, all the people going crazy. It was surreal.
Remember when Eric Gordon instantly became a Bahamian national hero 2 summers ago with those back-to-back threes against Argentina?
I do.
It feels like that Eric Gordon is back for the 76ers. Gordon had 14 points and made 3 of 4 three-pointers for the 76ers in their 117-104 win over the Sacramento Kings last night at Wells Fargo Center. Over the last 4 games, the 36-year-old veteran has averaged 14 points per game and shooting threes at a 59% clip, 13 for 22. His production has also led to 4 straight wins for Philadelphia, who improved to 19-27 and are now 1 game out of the final spot in the SoFi play-in tournament. After scoring in single digits for 3 straight games, Klay Thompson got back to the shot making we've come to expect. Thompson scored 20 points and made 6 threes to lead the Dallas Mavericks to a 117-116 win over the New Orleans Pelicans last night at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. That'll do it for Our Sports. This is 10YS. I know Carifta is still months away, but what effect does this have on Carnival?
For our people, there's going to be a carnival.
Wait, who are our people? Never mind. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on our news tonight, Atlantis Paradise Island is known for creating top-tier experiences, and one signature event keeps guests coming back. Our Daniel Miller has the story. Plus, temperatures are dipping in the capital as we move closer to the weekend. Greg is back with your extended forecast when our news returns. Stay with us.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
Unleash resilience. Secure the digital future. navigate the evolving landscape of cyber threats. The future will be secured. Presenting the Alive Business Cybersecurity Conference, Securing the Future, Navigating Cyber Challenges in Business. Thursday, February 20th, 2025, Atlantis, Paradise Island. Register today. This is how we unleash resilience. This is how we create innovation. Together, let's secure the digital future.
Yo, what's good, my lord?
This is our news. Welcome back. Ridge of high pressure at the surface and aloft dominating our weather. That's going to continue to provide us with some dry air mass across the area. That ridge at the surface, though, will continue to strengthen a bit, so we're looking at some tightening pressure gradients across our area. Winds will be increasing as that ridge of high pressure stays in place, and as I mentioned, a front boundary expected by late Friday and into Saturday could bring us a couple of isolated showers, but all in all, it should reinforce the nice conditions we've been having over the last couple of days. Future forecast showing nothing much happening out there, nothing in terms of any precipitation across our area. High pressure will begin its trek towards the east. That's going to be paving the way for this frontal boundary in the Gulf of Mexico to get in our area. Front will fall apart before it gets here, but it could still bring us one or two spotty showers. Boating forecast, northwest and central Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Winds begin to pick up, small craft caution in place, rip current risk elevated. East to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, seas running 4 to 7 feet over the ocean in some east to southeasterly swells. And in the southeast Bahamas, advisory in place for you guys down there, easterly winds 15 to 25 knots, seas running 5 to 8 feet in easterly swells. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, nothing to talk about. Maybe a spotty shower with that front, but temperatures will not take much of a dip. We don't expect much of any cooler air mass behind that. 80 degrees throughout the time frame, and temperatures at night will stay in the 60s to the low 70s. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks so much for that, Greg. Well, Ethan Johnson, this year's Student of the Year nominee for St. Francis and Joseph Catholic Primary School, recently hosted a basketball hoop competition at his school to raise money for the Nazareth Center Children's Home. The 11-year-old is no stranger to our news or giving back. Last week, we told you about his Christmas donation to the All Saints Camp and his basketball clinics for the Ranfley home. Now he's using basketball again to spread what he calls his mission for hope. Ethan shared his reason for giving back and what's next.
I decided to do these gift boxes because I've seen the young men and young ladies suddenly taking interest in playing basketball. So what I decided to do is I decided to give back to my schoolmates by giving them a basketball experience that they can remember as they go on in life. The next thing on my hope mission is I've had a hope tree outside of my school, and I've been asking some parents to, send a little bit of donations so that it can go to the Children's Emergency Hostel.
Providing elevated experiences is a standard for the team at the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort. A part of that process is creating signature events. Over the years, there's been one event that's become a crowd favorite. Our Daniel Miller tells us more.
Have you ever attended Swirl Tasting Series? It's hosted by the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort, and it gives both locals and guests an opportunity to indulge in an evening of tasteful bliss.
When I came in, the ambiance was just beautiful and it was welcoming. First spot is wine, and after a long week, who wouldn't love that?
My friend told me about it and she was like, oh yeah, they have this every year, a few times a year, and I was like, oh, it sounds like we need to go.
Unlike Astrid and Satea, this was not my first swirl soiree. However, this was the first time we all experienced the event on Bar Soul's patio.
For a very long time, we had it at the Ocean Clubhouse. We decided to bring it back to the heart of Atlantis and at this very picturesque viewpoint here on the Bar Soul patio overlooking the Paradise Lagoon, where the breeze is nice, the vibes are going, and the food is scrumptious.
Besides the abundance of food, the variety of wines was impressive. Each station presented different bottles of white and red wines. There was also a station designated to unique mixes featuring Grey Goose vodka.
What we wanted to do today was provide diversity. So Jackson Family Wines owns 55 wineries in 9 countries. So I got a lot to choose from.
Okay, now I promise all of these weren't mine, but I did have a good time at the Swirl Tasting Series. If you want to join in on the fun, follow Atlantis Local or Atlantis Bahamas or Atlantis After Dark to find out when the next event is. And trust me, you don't want to miss it.
Reporting for our news, I'm Danielle Miller.
Sounds exciting, Denny. Thanks so much. And thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening. Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications